بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
I don't know when Israel will destroy Masjid al-Aqsa. I don't know. All I can say is probably a convenient earthquake. And that it will occur as late as possible before the Dajjal appears in human form. Because this is the most dangerous of all things that Israel can do. Number two, will Israel or America attack Iran again? Will Iran achieve becoming a nuclear power to deter from further aggression with the help of China and Russia? Number one, so long as Iran does not acquire nuclear weapons, they will continue to attack Iran. I have no doubt about that. So yes, the United States and Iran and Israel will continue to attack Iran. Number two, will Iran acquire nuclear weapons? I don't see any evidence so far. Even though Israel attacked Iran and Israel killed so many nuclear scientists, Israel killed the chief of staff of the Iranian armed forces, Israel killed the head of the Revolutionary Guards. Yet, Israel attacked and bombed so many nuclear plants. Yet, it appears that Iran is still holding on to the fatwa of Ayatollah Khomeini and showing no signs of changing. If Iran decides to change, the first thing they'll have to do is to withdraw from the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. And Iran has not done that so far. So I am not hopeful that Iran will become a nuclear power and therefore be able to deter Israel and United States from attacking. Next question. What event will start the Malhama? I expect or I suspect it will be a false flag attack. Whether it be attack on Russia or on the United States, I don't know. But since it's going to be a false flag attack, no one knows when it will take place and no one knows where it will take place. When it will take place, I've already said that my view is, and I can be wrong, that when it becomes clear that Ukraine is losing the war and Russia is winning the war, then in order to save face, the Malhama might be provoked in order to save face, that the Western world will not have to accept defeat in Ukraine. Will Pakistan be a part of the Malhama and use its nuclear warheads if attacked? It is possible. It is possible that when the nuclear war is taking place, the Malhama, that Israel and India might choose that as the most opportune moment to seek to denuclearize Pakistan. And that a combined attack by both Israel and India, supported by the West, would then be launched on Pakistan. Whether they will succeed in denuclearizing Pakistan or not, should not be difficult for us to understand, because those who rule over Pakistan, the government and the armed forces, have betrayed the religion of Islam. How long will Pax Judaica last before, during, or after the Malhama in total, in number of years? So we have an idea of Israel's rule. Number one, look at how long Pax Britannica lasted. And that will be a year like a day. That will be within a day like a year. Within a day like a year, you have Pax Britannica. Then look and see how long Pax Americana is lasting. Pax America is not ended yet, it's now ending. And when you do that, you get some rough estimate of how long Pax Judaica will last. Don't ask me to do that. I'm not going into figures, 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. I'm not going to do that. Given your theory that Pax Judaica has already arrived, how, in your opinion, will it affect the timeline of events? But before we see Dajjal in person. Answer. Even though Pax Judaica has arrived, the prophecy is that a great war will take place. The Malhama, or Armageddon. And the prophecy is that after the Great War takes place, either 7 months or 7 years, the conquest of Constantinople will take place. And then the prophecy is that after that, the next event will be that Dajjal will appear in person. I don't know how long it will take between the conquest of Constantinople and the emergence of Dajjal, but I use my own logic, and I assume that it will not be much longer than this period of time between the conquest of Constantinople and the emergence of Dajjal, which is 7 years perhaps. Iran's fatwa, was it not in 2 parts? The first part, nuclear weapons is not the very way forward, rejected nuclear speculation until they are attacked. And second part, only when they are attacked. No, Misha, that's my view. I thought that this was Iranian policy, that we will not pursue nuclear weapons, but we will pursue nuclear technology and produce the nuclear plants. But if we are ever attacked, then we will get out of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty and immediately become a nuclear power. This was my thinking that this was their plan, but I was wrong. I'm wrong. Because even though Israel attacked Iran, monstrously so, and the United States attack Iran, still Iranian government and scholarship is holding on to the fatwa of Ayatollah Khomeini. It's not changing. What should people of Palestine and Gaza do, and in the West Bank? Answer. Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam sees in his dream a vision that he is sacrificing his son. With the divine wisdom, knows who the son is, but the divine wisdom chooses in the Quran not to identify the son. There's wisdom in that. He goes to his son and he says to his son, "This is what I've seen. Fanzur ma zatara." What is your response? The son replies and said, "Father, do as you've been ordered." So the son recognizes this to be a ru'ya, a vision from Allah. Both the father and the son appear to understand the vision literally to involve human sacrifice. Human sacrifice, that Allah has ordered human sacrifice. But both the father and the son were wrong. Allah never ordered human sacrifice at all. Because when he was about to sacrifice his son, Allah stopped him. Qad sadaqta ru'ya. You have already fulfilled the vision without human sacrifice. The vision never required human sacrifice because you have already fulfilled the vision without human sacrifice. So then what is the implication of the vision of Ibrahim alayhi salam sacrificing one of his sons? This is ayah mutashabiha, requiring ta'wil or interpretation. And I have offered my interpretation from the perspective of Islamic eschatology, but as usual, nobody accepts it. I have said that this vision is a prophecy. Allah is informing you that the seed of this son will one day be sacrificed. The seed of this son will one day be sacrificed. And that sacrifice, in my opinion, that zabiha is taking place now. The Arabs are going to be sacrificed, beginning with the Palestinians. And we cannot stop it. We cannot prevent it because Allah said this is going to happen. But those who die from Israel's onslaught will go to heaven. And how happy they will be in heaven. So there is a tomorrow coming for them of joy and happiness as martyrs, as shuhada. Every one of them who dies as shaheed will go to heaven. And those who send them to the grave will go to the hellfire. What will be Yemen's role in Akhir Zaman? A fire will come out of Yemen and drive people to their place of assembly. Is it muhkama or is it mutashabiha? Answer, this is mutashabiha. It has to be interpreted. It's not an actual fire. It's a revolutionary fire. And the revolutionary fire will drive people to their place of assembly for judgment. I am of the opinion that we're seeing the beginning of the flames already in Yemen at this time. What link is there between BRICS and Pax Judaica? BRICS is a rival to Pax Judaica because BRICS is challenging the monetary system which has supported Pax Judaica. So BRICS might end up like the United Nations. They might try to sabotage BRICS because it poses a threat to Israel. Will a multipolar world affect Pax Judaica? Of course it will. Of course it will. And that's why they want the Malhama. One of the purposes of the Malhama is to reduce the world from the rule of the two great powers, the superpowers. Hopefully that the Malhama will cause mutual destruction On this side, the United States and the West. On that side, Russia and China. That they will destroy themselves. The world has never experienced nuclear war. There are no experts. We don't know what's going to happen. So their thinking is that the post-nuclear world would be a world in which Israel can now stake a claim to rule the world. So a multipolar world will not exist after the Great War. Russia and China are building their own financial system as an alternative to the West. Do you think it will survive? And should the Muslim use the big system? I don't think it will survive the nuclear war. But until such time as the nuclear war takes place, yes, the whole world of Islam should be supporting BRICS. Netanyahu expressed European leaders' support Israel, but privately. If this is true, will Europe take additional action after recognizing Palestine? Europe is accepting and recognizing Palestine not because of any genuine change of heart to support the Palestinian people. No. The recognition of Palestine is because this formed part of the policy of, I call it, damage control. So that when the British population and the French population rise up in violent demonstrations against Israel, that the governments can survive. The governments can survive. What is the significance of Isfahan in the context of Israel-Iran, especially considering the hadith of 70,000 Jews from Isfahan? Isfahan is close to the place which the Jews recognize as the burial place of the prophet Daniel. I went to Isfahan and I spent a week or so, but I never knew about Daniel and his grave, otherwise I was going to visit it. So because of the proximity from Isfahan of the grave of Daniel, alayhi salam, there is a very significant Jewish presence always in Isfahan. They come from all over the world. And they all stay in one hotel, only one hotel, everybody. It's called Hotel Akbar. I stayed in that hotel. And while I was staying in that hotel, I could see all these Jews, and they're all European Jews. European Jews. So I have the beginnings of an explanation in my mind. It needs further research. That these Jews who will be supporting supporting Dajjal from Isfahan are not the Banu Israel, but the European Jews who are there, not because they're living in Iran, but because they're visiting Iran for Daniel. When do you see the arrival of the Mahdi during the era when we have Pax today? Because the Mahdi is going to be sent by Allah. It is not Trump who will decide, and not Putin who will decide. Allah will decide when He sends the Mahdi. Iran will not decide. So when will Allah send the Mahdi? That's the question. And since Allah Himself created Dajjal, and Allah Himself created Gog and Magog, and Allah Himself created Dabbatul Ard, and Allah is the one who is going to send the Mahdi, it makes sense to me that Allah will not send the Mahdi until Dajjal has completed his mission. And Dajjal would not have completed his mission until he stands up in Jerusalem and declares, Ana al-Masih, I am the Messiah. So I don't anticipate the advent of the Mahdi until Pax Judaica has completed its day like a week, and then Dajjal has appeared in human form, and then Dajjal rules from the world from Jerusalem, and then he declares, I am the Messiah. Last question. Do you think that certain countries that appear anti-Western are in fact controlled opposition? For example, China and Russia? No, not at all. I believe that Russia is sincere, very sincere, in rejecting Western imperialism and Western feminism and this nonsense that a man can marry a man and get a marriage certificate. I believe that the Russians are sincere in their return to their Orthodox Christian faith, number one. So this is not controlled opposition at all. Number two, China. I believe China is sincere in its attachment to its civilization. The proud of Chinese civilization. And because of their pride in their civilization, that's why China will not bend her knee in submission to the Zionist world order.